My name is April Rovero, and I'm the founder and the executive director of the National Coalition Against Prescription Drug Abuse. I want to share with you some parenting tips that I think can be very helpful. First of all, communication is essential, and having a really good conversation with your child whenever you can is really important. It's really, I think, critical that you make your position regarding substance abuse really clear. Don't just assume that they know because you don't use any substances other than maybe medications yourselves. You need to set clear expectations. What do you expect them to do when it comes to that party scene and them potentially getting offered, some alcohol or prescription drugs? You need to discuss the personal expectations and the consequences that, there will be if they go down a path that you don't feel comfortable with. And there are legal consequences, and I think it's really urgent that they understand that, selling or giving their medications to somebody else is actually illegal to the point of it being a felony. We also need to make sure that they understand that they could be targeted if they have Adderall that's being used to manage their ADHD, or perhaps they had a sports injury and they've been prescribed a painkiller. There are potentially students on campus who will target them. Not in a mean way. They'll offer them money. They'll maybe cajole them into giving them a pill to study with for a test, an Adderall pill. So they need to guard against that. They need to understand that if they give into that, if they provide a pill, if they sell a pill, that is, again, illegal to the point of it being a felony if we are giving them a controlled substance. So we need to also make sure that we teach and practice resistance strategies. Have them think ahead of time what they're going to do to get out of a situation they're uncomfortable with, because you're going to have educated them so well, they're going to know the dangers of mixing alcohol with pills or just taking a handful of pills in some kind of a pill party setting. So how are they going to extract themselves from that? There are lots of good strategies that can be used. Number one, I think that I like to share with parents is that their kids can use them as an excuse. My parents' drug test me works pretty well. I've had a lot of students tell me. So practice them, not just teach them, but practice those strategies so that they're equipped and prepared to walk out the door or find a way out of their situation. Also knowing their friends. So have conversations when they come over. Don't ignore them. Have those conversations and get to know their parents. Understand where your kids are. It's really important to know where they are and have that open conversation going with their friends and their parents. Teaching them how to help a friend. I've had a lot of kids let me know that they're okay, but they're really concerned about a friend. Helping them understand that, their friend may not like them. They may be mad at the time. But if they really have a problem, calling them out on them and really encouraging them to get help is really a great way to be a friend. Teaching overdose signs is essential because very often in a party setting, whether they're in high school, college, they may see somebody that's unconscious or they're having trouble breathing, whatever. They need to understand what those overdose signs are, and they need to feel comfortable calling 911. Because our children may, in fact, encounter an overdose situation as they're out visiting their friends in a party setting or whatever that might be, I think it's really important that they understand what those overdose signs are. So understanding if they see somebody unconscious or having trouble breathing, just don't assume they'll sleep something off. They need to make that call to 911. And they need to understand that there is limited immunity now in our state and many others because of the Good Samaritan laws that are being passed all over the country. And what that means is that they can make that call, and even if they have, say, consumed alcohol and they're under 21, or they're under the influence of a substance they shouldn't be, they won't be arrested. They do have that immunity as long as they've made that call to save a life. And then family dinners, I can't stress how important they are. To have at least, a few nights a week, the opportunity to sit down at the table, with the food flowing and the conversation that inevitably happens, have an opportunity to talk about your day with your child, and have that opportunity to open up the conversation on their world and see what's happening. Also taking advantage of those car rides. For some reason, they kind of forget you're driving, and, there can be lots of really good conversation, with them in the back seat, talking to their friends, and you can have the opportunity to talk to them there as part of that conversation, or even following up maybe later as a result of what you've heard there. So use those tools as you can. In terms of nurturing your child, it's important to foster self-esteem and resilience, and helping to do that through assigned responsibilities, teaching them coping skills, getting them engaged in yoga, mindfulness, breathing, whatever the case may be. Also identify and help them develop their talents. Also, along the way, always encourage questions, healthy exploration, and positive choices. Allowing them to fail, but then handling it supportively is great parent advice. To learn more, please tune in to the other segments of our prescription drug series.